So far, we've been using images pulled from Docker Hub. Usually, we'll need to package additional programs and files into an image. We can do so by creating our own Docker images. Navigate to the Note-Taking App folder in the code repository and take a look at the provided Node application. It's going to be an application server that serves up an HTML page, and it will create an application that looks something like this. An application where we can type in notes, submit, and then have them listed below here. We're going to create a Docker image to package up this application and its dependencies, and then run it in a container. In order to create the image, we need to specify how the image should be built. In order to do so, we're going to create what's called a Docker file inside of the Note-Taking App directory. And in this Docker file, we're going to list the instructions on how to create our own image. So the first thing we want to do in this Docker file is that we want to specify a base image by using the from command. Every new image that you create is going to be based off of some type of base image. In this case, we're going to use node:8alpine for the tag, and we're going to build an image based on this node image from Docker Hub. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to specify an environment variable for this application server. We can do so by using the env command. You'll want to specify the environment variable name and the value. And that'll make sure that we have port 3000 set up in our environment. You can use this command for specifying default environment variables. Next, what we want to do is that we want to copy all of our application files into the image so that it's ready to run. We can use the work directory command in order to specify the directory in the image that we want to be working in. It'll be created if it doesn't exist. And then we can actually copy the files into this working directory by using the copy command. We'll specify a source folder, which will be the current folder we're inside right here, and then the destination folder, which in this case will be the working directory, user source app. Once all of our files have been copied into the image, we can then install our dependencies. In order to do so, we need to run the command npm install within the image. And we can do so by using the run command. So it's going to be run, and then whatever command you want to run in the image. This npm install command will read the package.json file that we copied into the image, and then install these dependencies. Now that we have our files and our dependencies installed, we can then specify a default command to use when starting this container. We can use the cmd command and then specify that we want to run npm start in order to start our web application. And then lastly, we're going to expose the port 3000. And this does a couple things. It serves as documentation for whoever's looking at the image so that they know which port to eventually publish when running a container. And it also helps expose the port for inter-container communication if you decide to do that in the future. Note that exposing a port is different from publishing a port. So when we run the container using this image, we still need to publish the port using the P option. So now that we've specified everything inside of that Docker file, we can go ahead and build our image in the terminal. We can do so by using the docker build command. Use the T option to specify the name and tag of our image, which will be note-taking-app, and we'll give this the latest tag, and then the location of the Docker file that you want to build. In this case, it will be in the current directory, so we can just say dot. You'll see that the image will be built by following those commands in the Docker file. The container will then be built, given an ID. The image will be built, be given an ID and a tag. Now what we can do is we can run this container and verify that this image works. So I'm going to run docker run -it d. We're going to publish the port 3000. We're going to then use our new image, note-taking-app :latest. Now if I go over here and access localhost 3000, we should have our application up and running. I can then write a note, submit it, and then I'll be interacting with the application server in the container. I can then kill this container, and then the application should stop running.